What up all you filmmakers and photographers? So great to see all your beautiful faces. I'm Aaron Datu, a filmmaker, photographer, and storyteller. And today I'm just showing you some behind the scenes footage of a time lapse I shot and how I shot it and any tips I could give you on when you do shoot your own time lapses. Keep in mind I'm no time lapse professional, and to be honest, it's been so long since I even did a time lapse, so hopefully it turns out pretty mint, but if not, hey, you live and learn. Let's hop into it. Morning, everyone. Let's go shoot a time lapse. It's way too early for this, but I figured I'd take you guys along on the journey. And yeah, I'm gonna wait for this coffee to brew, revitalize my soul, and we'll get going. Gotta get a milk ready before I can head out. Dad life. Alright, so currently it's like 5:10. It's still pretty dark out, as you can tell. So we're in pretty good shape in terms of getting a sunrise time lapse. And the whole reason I'm doing this is just so I could get better at, like, I guess, documenting myself. Hopefully the sun doesn't rise out of nowhere, but I checked on photo pills and everything. It should be around like 6:23. So we got like an hour and a half until, or an hour until it actually happens. So, and I still need to look for a location in the location, so fun times. Ain't gonna lie, like, being here at this time is like super sketchy. Don't forget to use bug spray, man. Yeah. The sky's looking crazy. Like, I hope I don't miss this whole sunrise time lapse, but we're gonna go looking for some locations. I'd be so mad if I fell into it right now. I think we found it. Yeah. We could have, yeah, and then have this path in there. I think this will work. This should work. All right, so let's go over some time-lapse basics. There's 4 main modes that you should know about. There's program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, and then just manual. For time lapses, I always recommend going with aperture priority, just because you could stop your lens as low as you can, and then your shutter speed will determine how much it's gonna be exposed. I usually always expose for the sky whenever I'm doing like a sunrise or a sunset time lapse or something like that. Alright, so the second tip I can give is to set your focus. You definitely want to put it in manual focus for any time lapse, because you don't want it to push in and out on focusing. It's going to be very distracting. Next tip I can give you regarding the whole time lapse making process would be to obviously use a tripod. It could be something simple as like this tiny one I'm using, or something like a bigger one with a hook on it to attach some weight. I usually just hook my camera bag up to it. It's heavy enough to where it should prevent any like shakes from the wind or whatever, but You can always add more gear. Bring a intervalometer, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just something that communicates with your camera on how many shots you want, how far apart you want the shots, and all that stuff. Most cameras might need it, just depends on how old of a camera you have. Another thing I would suggest is to definitely bring a chair or something that you can mess around with while you wait for the time lapse to go, because these time lapses can usually take a long time. So keeping yourself entertained would be pretty useful. Or you could bring like a lawn chair. I brought the one wheel because it's super fun. And I love snowboarding, so this is like the closest thing to snowboarding for me. One app that I definitely recommend, whether you're doing like sunrise or sunset time lapses, or it's astrophotography, something like that, would be PhotoPills. It does cost quite a bit of monies, nothing too crazy, but one feature I do love about that whole app is the whole augmented reality, so where you could track the pattern of the sun or the stars or whatever. Super useful in framing up your time lapses, because you may not know what direction the sun's going to go. We always assume the sun's just going straight up and straight down, but it actually has like a little curve, or angled, I guess, I don't know. PhotoPills, check it out. Another thing I would suggest is definitely to shoot RAW. You could shoot RAW and JPEG if you do have the dual card slots, but if you want to save some space, definitely shoot RAW, because you have so much more flexibility with RAW files. Like, you could bring those shadows up and act like nothing happened. Especially in these Sony bodies, like, man, they're really good.
It's like a deer right there.
I'm no motivational person. Like, I'm not like I'm not Gary V, alright? So, I don't know, just go out, create something dope, and enjoy the process. Alright, we're all done. Time to pack up the stuff and get out of here. You know, I think I'd call that a win. Definitely gonna go at this location because look how wide that is. That's like super wide. And I had to go like over. I had to go about like 2 or 3 frames over how many I wanted to shoot, because there's like a couple people that walked in front of the camera, which I don't understand why they do that. But other than that, it's a success. Let's head home, edit this up, see what we got. So after you have all your photos imported from Lightroom and into whatever editing software you have, I use Final Cut Pro. This is what your footage is going to look like when you set each frame to 1 frame per second. Then just add a few sound effects and some color grading. And then after it's all put together, here's what the final outcome looks like. Thank you for watching, and like the video if you liked it, share it if you're into that, and consider subscribing if you're not already, and hit that bell notification for any content I may have in the future. And as always, I appreciate you for watching. See you in the next one.